big dump within the market, a massive flush towards the downside. So in today's live show, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why this dump happened, and then I'm going to show you why most people are going to be fooled as to what comes next. So stay tuned till the very end of the show. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel, and then let's get straight into it. And I want to start off over here by having a look at the, of course, banter bubbles charts, which you can see is an absolute sea of red. Pretty much every single coin here is red except for 1 or 2, right? You got Filecoin, which is one of the first out of the gates over there, 6%. We have Sui with a little measly 0.27%, so reclaiming those daily levels which it had yesterday, but we are long on Sui. We have Injective also pushing up over here with 2.5%, so the daily looks pretty dismal. How much of the weekly gains were given up? Let's have a look. Most of it. A lot of the coins gave up those weekly gains. Monthly, though, still remains with the majority of the top 100 coins being green. If you look at the hourly, though, here it is. Most of the coins are starting to bounce. So we'll have a look at some of those altcoins. We'll have a look at the 4 reasons. There's 4 particular reasons why this dump actually took place. And I'll show you why we warned you, right? We did actually look at one of the potential scenarios, which is one of those reasons. But the other reason is this, right? This is what a lot of people are going to tell you, is that it was Roaring Kitty's live stream from GameStop where he was acting like a confused lunatic, right? Look at him all dressed up over there, literally wearing plasters and slings for his arms like he's been through war, and pretty much he really didn't say much. Honestly, he just said that he's holding GME and the price started to go down. So some people speculate that this is one of the reasons. He had 500,000 people in the waiting room and came to the live stream 25 minutes late. So if you think that the banter hosts are bad at being on time, definitely don't wait around for this guy, because 25 minutes late, this show's already done over 2 million views. Massive, massive, massive. I'm also going to show you what this means for you. So let's quickly move this through to a little degen section over here so that we can be reminded of that towards the end of the stream. But now I'm going to get into more of the real reasons why this dump took place, right? So reason number 2 was the non-farm employment change data came in and the jobs numbers came in strong. What does that mean? Well, simply, of course, we have the FOMC meeting, which is going to be coming up next week. You have the CPI and the FOMC where the Fed decide on whether they're going to raise or drop the interest rates or leave them the same. Now, if the job numbers come in good, it shows that the economy is strong and resilient, and consequently inflation may be sticky and come back, and therefore the market interprets this as a bad thing, and therefore the probabilities will increase that they won't cut interest rates, which is what one of the expectations were coming into next week's FOMC. So mark that off on your calendar. The next 2 weeks are going to be pretty volatile, more specifically leading into the CPI. I'm going to show you in the short term what you should be expecting leading into that price action wise. And the third reason, which is due to the second reason for the market going down, is this: the DXY with a big move towards the upside. Massive candle towards the upside over there. Big green girthy daily candle towards the upside. And consequently, this adds a lot of pressure onto the risk on assets, that being crypto and stocks, right? Now, if we put back the rest of our charts over here, we said that we started to see the first signs and symptoms of a breakdown. We spent a couple of days underneath this trend line. You've now bounced off and reclaimed that. And ultimately, it is still in the medium time frame bearish so long as the dollar remains below these candles on the left-hand side, which means the dollar would need to reclaim 105.147. And we said that don't count your chickens before they hatch until such time as you actually get a proper break below these candles on the left-hand side, which is the DXY needs to break below 102.3. And then it needs to back test the gray box area as resistance, because right now that is support, and it's very, very strong support. Why? Well, because it spent a lot of time developing this range, right? So we know that it's a very, very significant area, right? A lot of time developing this range, big push up towards the top side, rejects off the top end of the parallel channel, comes back down into the middle of that rising parallel channel, which simultaneously lines up with your strong horizontal support, right? So it is still support until such time as it breaks down properly and flips it into resistance. And therefore, The anticipation is still here, the rise of the M2 money supply and new liquidity coming into the market due to it being an election year, which we know that June is usually where you find your major bottoms within the election year, and then you spend the next 7 months going up. This is based on historical data. That's facts, not opinion. That is the absolute facts of the data. Therefore, the expectation is still that at some point soon, we should see a breakdown of the DXY, which ultimately would lead to higher prices for the rest of the year. So that's your high time frame trade that you're looking at, right? We'll get into the low time frame things, and that was reason number 3. Now, reason number 4 is this, right? Degens building up leverage long positions right into the, what are you meant to do? You're meant to short resistance and long support. I told you though, however, that I wouldn't be shorting this resistance per se, but I also wouldn't be longing. I'll just be sitting on my hands waiting for the confirmation of the breakout of the trend or the pullback down to the low levels that we're looking at. And it's something that I covered literally in yesterday's video. I showed you guys over here that when you have a look at the open interest as it picks up into these key levels over here, every single time you're getting a flush. So here's a better perspective looking at the live action price chart. Every time the open interest pushes up towards this 81,000 mark into the purple box that I have over here, it leads to a big flush towards the downside, and that causes price to come down with it. Look, open interest builds up again, price attempts at the range highs and flushes back down. It happened again over here. Price pushes up into the range highs, open interest flushes down. You get a little bit of a pullback, and now we got the same thing once again. So this was something that was actually expected. Now, the reason that I personally said that I wouldn't be shorting this, I would only short it if I saw a break above the range high like this. So let's just quickly grab our tool over here. I would only short it if I saw the break above the range high and then the break back into the range, while simultaneously the open interest was pushing towards the upside. And the reason being is just because we've tested this level so many times that you're now starting to increase the probability that every time that you revisit this level, it's like a bouncing ball hitting ice, right? The more and more times that it hits that sheet of ice, the higher the chances are it's going to break through. Now just invert that and imagine throwing it up into an ice wall or into a ceiling. Eventually you're going to break through that ceiling. So the high probability setups on the shorts are when you come into the range highs for the first couple of times. As that level gets hit more and more and more, you increase the chances of breaking through. And that's why I said I wouldn't short it, but I definitely sure as hell wouldn't be going long into this area, because it is still possible that you get the flush towards the downside. Now, there are other people out there that have absolutely nailed every single small move that's out there. One of which is, of course, in our very own trading group, is Mo, right? Trader Mo, absolutely crushing it in the Whale Room Discord. Look at that. That was yesterday already at 2:43. And he said, basically posted the bear over there. And he says, didn't I tell you that everything is going as per the plan? Thanks, you've never failed me. And ultimately what happened a couple of hours after that is where we did get that big flush towards the downside. So guys, I mean, if you want that extra alpha, if you want every single little move within the short-term trend, make sure that you join into Whale Room, right? These are some of the profits that we're seeing over here. Massive, massive, massive profits from the community as well. So if you go into this section over here, you can see some of these gains, right? Huge, huge, huge profits, both longing and shorting the market. And these degens are currently trading the heck out of the BitGet trading competition, which we're in right now. So feel free to jump in there if you do want to at least trial it for the month of the competition. There is a link in the description below. It's going to take you through to this WAP Whale Room page, which will set you up. It's all linked through Discord and Telegram. Use the link in the description below. It's right over here. If you go through to, there we go, Whale Room, there it is. That's your Whale Room hub. Click on that link. Make sure that you join in. We're having a whole lot of fun over there. But now let's get into the analysis. Let's have a look at where we are within this part of the cycle. And if we have deviated from the plan, is it all over? Also wrote a long thread. Very, very long thread. It may as well be published as a Medium article. I wrote about extreme contango in the Whale Room Discord. If you do want to know more about that, go through to the Whale Room Discord, have a look at that. That was the case for why Bitcoin, the small chance, right? Small case for why potentially Bitcoin could actually go down as low as between, let's say, $40,000 and $45,000. And that's due to the extreme contango. You can also go look up extreme contango if you want to learn a little bit more about that for yourself. But nevertheless, let's have a look at the bull market support band, which just governs, some of the worst case scenarios for where price action could go. So if you look at Bitcoin right now, your lower regions of support are going to be 60,500 to 61,800. That's on Bitcoin. We'll also have a look at ETH. Let's quickly go to ETH over here and see where its band is. Current major support is coming in at 3,100 to $3,200. I'll give you a couple more. Let's have a look at some of the other main ones like Solana. Solana very close to hitting its major support. I actually think on a wick basis, this level would have been tagged, right? Almost. Okay, 147, so 141 to 147 is the bull market support band. As long as price holds at that level and bounces off that, you do still theoretically have a high time frame bullish trend on these coins, right? Because it's very easy to see which way is the trend going up, right? You can just look at the direction of these lines. It's literally as simple as that. It is an uptrend. And if you look at the total market cap, we've got the total market cap support coming in between $2.2 and $2.3 trillion, which is pretty close, right? Very, very close. Ultimately, what that means is that the recent lows that were printed on the market for Bitcoin, most notably, it was $55,000. Those levels need to hold. You don't want to see price action go back below those levels because that's where you start to create your first lower low, and you'll be breaking below these key support levels on the bull market support band, which ultimately does indicate that you might get lower prices, right? So be very, very careful of that if that does start to happen. Currently, we're still range bound. You're still coming off extremely low volatility. Let's go into the daily, which started to show signs of expansion. Look at how these daily Bollinger Bands are starting to contract into one another over here. That's showing you that a massive move is about to come, right? This ultimately shows you when the blue bands start to expand onwards and upwards, that you're in the midst of a major move. That's why it's so important to get the direction of that move right. And that's why I'm saying that a break below these lows that occurred over here at about $56,000 for Bitcoin. If you do start to take out those lows, you're breaking below the bottom of the range over there. The Bollinger Bands are going to start to expand, which means that you have a big move in play. And that would be the very bearish case, right? That would be the extreme contango playing out, which could ultimately send Bitcoin as low as $40,000 to $50,000. And you need to watch out for that. Alternatively, the trends are still mostly towards the upside. You can see the middle Bollinger Band is increasing and holding prices support. So if you can break and hold above the top side of the range over here, which is at just above $72,000, you have a real breakout in play and you can look for high prices. So is this flush the final flush that just shook people out before the next move up? It is a possibility. It was a leverage flush. Over leveraged market participants coming into the market right at the dying moments, and consequently they got rinsed. They got rinsed out of those positions. This is why when you have a highly volatile market, you don't necessarily need to be trading everything on extremely high leverage, right? You can be trading things on spot, meaning you're just holding the underlying asset and playing with the ebbs and flows of the market. The volatility that's being provided naturally by the market is enough, right? And if you look over here at the timing, we're also now officially 86 days. So we're really nearing one of the longest corrections that we've had within the cycle. This is now officially the fifth correction within this bull run. We said that the bull run began the moment that we made the low. That's where we started to consider that it was a bull market, which is over here. As soon as that low was made, so this is your first correction, second, third, fourth, and we're now in the fifth correction. Again, 86 days in. How long would it be if we reach the longest one? Well, it would be 102 days, which means the 24th of June. So we do abide by the law of averages when it comes to trading. It's very, very accurate. If you look at the timing and the law of averages within trading, would suggest that, we played out the exact percentage drawdown between 20 and 25%. This one was 23.51% from top to bottom. And we expect to take out that high within the 102 days, which means that pretty much by the end of June. So the next 2 weeks should provide major buying opportunities. And of course, I've given two scenarios over here. One is the extremely bearish scenario, which I think is less likely right now, which is extreme contango, and that would send prices much, much lower. I will update you on the live shows, which is why you must smash the like button. Also, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I do go live, because I'll update you if the extremely bearish scenario is underway and actually going to be coming into fruition. At the end of the day, we will get warning signs of that. You won't just simply go from here down to 40K in one candle, right? What would happen though is you would have a bounce, a lower high, and would see signs of weakness, and then would start to lose the $60,000 level, which is where your extreme warning sign comes in, and then it will start to fall out of bed, right? It doesn't all just happen in one candle. So at the end of the day, just pay attention to the charts. The charts give you all the information that you need to know. Now, we spoke about how we've spent 50 days attempting to break out above this key $69,615 level. So let's make that nice and big so you can see it very clearly. There it is. That level, that is the level. It's been very, very significant. This has held price and cap price towards the downside for the longest period of time. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and now 55 days. 55 days with failure to get back above that level. Now, the more and more times that you hit into this, the higher the chances are that you're eventually going to break out. As it currently stands, you still have the 3 MA as support. You have the 9 MA underneath that coming in as next level support, also lining up at the mid-range, which is why $65,000 will also be a key level to potentially bounce price. And then on the lower end over here, you have your range lows at 61,000 with the 30 moving average, which is rising up as support. So what that means is that even if price were theoretically to come back down to this level, I think the next attempt at this high will be extremely high chances that you're going to breach this level and push through for a breakout, right? I would give it in the region of the next attempt at that level. If we come all the way down, and the next attempt at that level, I would give as much as about an 85% chance of breaking out and smashing through this level. And this is why I spoke about the 69K level as mega significant for the longest period of time. The more time that's spent here, actually, the more bullish it becomes for when the actual breakout does take place. So if you do want to learn more about why I say that and how I analyze the charts and how I come to these conclusions, a reminder, most of you have already joined into Whale School for this cohort, but for those of you who are new and haven't, there is Whale School. It's entirely free. It's valued at $3,000, but the sponsors are covering your cost, right? The sponsors listed below are ultimately covering your cost, so thank you very much to them. You have 25 days, 6 hours left to sign up. All you have to do is go through to the link in the description below over here. Click that exact link. As you click that link, it will open up this page. Please make sure you only use that link because we have found that there are nefarious websites out there that have tried to copy this one, and ultimately they're stealing your information. So make sure you use that exact link. It'll take you through to the right page and sign up. You have 25 days left before cohort number 6. We've done 5 already. Put 50,000 people through Whale School, which is an absolute honor and a blessing. Okay, now look at price action over here, riding up straight into the liquidity. And you know, I would have expected a pullback from this zone over here, but I must admit, I definitely didn't expect that the flush would be as drastic as it was in one candle. But look at that. Picture clear over here on High Block Capital. You absolutely smashed into 72,200, an immediate sell-off. I was actually looking for a little bit higher first. I was looking for something like this before it gets knocked down, something like that. And then the next knock towards the downside was going to come into play. But nevertheless, we got it now. And it's not to say that you can't still ride up towards that level and it happens again. But at the end of the day, this remains a target for the longest period of time. Ever since we printed this candle over here, we looked for the W formation over there, and we went long over here. We went long at exactly $60,000, and then the target became the top of the range high. So for me, it's just a matter of when. Everything else that happens in between here is simply just chop for the trade that's going from here to here. Okay, so with that being said, what are those low levels? Again, just giving you a different viewpoint. Right now, price is broken below the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, which is going to be governing price towards the downside. You're also caught below the pivot level, which is resetting the RSI and bringing the RSI lower. You then are right at that support level, which is caught between the 9 and the 18 exponential moving average on the daily. And then your major support, this is going to be the key significant levels, is going to be the mid-range, which is at $67,600, and it has confluence with the 200 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. Now, if you lose that level and you start to break below, then remember, we did warn of this, that you have the fair value gap, but it won't happen in a straight line, right? What would probably happen is you might continue down. Then you're going to reject back from 70K over there. And then the fair value gap, which is coming between 63,000 and 64,500, is going to be the major level. Now, if we are to hit this level, my expectation is that within the next 12 to 14 days, that would play out. That would be the plan, right? I'd be looking for the next 12 to 14 days for this level to get hit. That's if it is going to get hit. These fair value gaps don't fill 100% of the time. It's like gaps in the stock market, right? That are left within the stock market. They also don't fill every single time, but they fill a high probability of the time. So you have two potential scenarios in play here. One is that you are ultimately going to come down and tag this level here, and then you're only going to go up there. The other alternative is that maybe price just continues from here. Bulls get gig along once again, and then you still get the proper flush towards the downside into the fair value gap. At the end of the day, I'm still expecting within the next 2 weeks, if we are even going to hit that level, that's when it should take place. So keep that in the back of your mind's eye. A lot of people are starting to flip short now within the market. You can see that the shorts to long ratio is pretty much double the amount of shorts compared to longs within the market. And you don't want to short short into support, right? Which theoretically we are coming into support right now. This is a support area. So with that being said, if you want to sharpen your tools, if you want to join alongside us with the gains and the profits that we're getting within Whale Room over here, then make sure that you join into the BitGet trading competition, right? The BitGet trading competition provides you with the opportunity to win up to $3 million. That's the current prize pool. So all you have to do is click that link that's below. If you go to BitGet over here, click that link, boom, it will take you through to this page over here. And then you join the whale team, right? The more the merrier. The more people that join into the whale team, the higher the chances of winning. So currently we have 381 in the team. I would love for you guys to participate as well. The reason being is it teaches you to look for opportunities within the market, and it teaches you to focus on the market on a day-to-day basis. So it's an accountability tool that will help you to ultimately ride this crypto cycle out to perfection. You know what I found is that ultimately when I joined Banter and I started doing these live shows, my trading became significantly better. I learned that it's about looking at the market every single day and absolutely milking the opportunities that are presented to you, which you have to be in the market every single day in order to see, right? Because most people, what they do is they only come when the moves already happen, and then it's too late. This is why I always encourage people to join these trading competitions. So use the link below, join the trading competition. Currently, we are also long on SUI on BitGet in a spot position over here. We're up $4,000 on this position. We'll be up about $5,000 on the other position because we're $100,000 long over here. So it's going really, really well. One of them are run through a grid bot. The other one is run simply just as a normal spot trade. So liking this move over here. It is looking good for SUI. The fact that it's picking up like this. Let's just quickly go into the daily and see what's happening over here. So nice flush. I mean, this tells me that SUI is probably going to go from here. I think it's unlikely based on the bullish absorption that you've just had on SUI that you're going to come back to lower prices. We'll have a look at all the rest of the other altcoins in just a moment's time. But yeah, that's all that I wanted to say, guys. Make sure that you join. Let's see if we can get 1,000 people into our team before the end, right? And if you think you're not a good trader, remember you only have to use $100 to enter into this competition. Consider that educational school fees. And the second part is that you won't affect the success of the team because the team is considered, or at least they're only taking the top 10 positions in the team to consider the team's ranking. So you won't destroy the credibility of the team, right? So feel free, join in with us. Here you got Ethereum, right? Ethereum swept that liquidity. That's why we said be careful. Don't continue to long Ethereum. You might get a sweep below that level because there is the liquidity buildup over here, which will just be longs that are obviously raising their stop, raising their stop, raising their stop, and people keep going long on ETH, and consequently, boom, that got flush. Now, obviously, if the market takes another downturn, there is still a possibility of coming even as low as potentially $3,400, which high time frame on Ethereum happens to be your mid-range level, right? You can see it nice and clearly over there. Range lows, range highs, and the yellow box is your mid-range, which is going to be formidable support, right? If you look at the ETH-BTC ratio, again, we've covered this a lot. Rejecting from that level, this requires patience because it's not trading against USD. So this can sit in the same place for a very long period of time. But you want to see consecutive higher highs and high lows. You want to see ETH-BTC reclaim above 0.055. Once that happens, you'll probably start to see a bit of an altcoin rally across the board. And you'll see a lot of money rotate, of course, from Bitcoin into Ethereum. So with that being said, some of the stronger altcoins has always been Solana, right? So let's have a look at Solana. Solana theoretically coming directly into support over here. And that is going to be the range lows. We really want to see that level hold. Of course, your invalidation is very, very clear on Solana, because if Solana does break below this level and gain acceptance below, you're opening up the possibility of coming all the way down to $140, which is the prior range, mid-range. And if you lose that, I mean, 120 is still on the cards, right? Why is this such a key level? Well, firstly, because it's strong horizontal. Secondly, because you also have this forever rising channel. Look at how long this thing has held for, right? I mean, this is absolutely insane. This is like the whole bull run, right? From Solana at $20, this upsloping trend line is held, which means that is very, very, very significant. If Solana breaks and holds below that, then ultimately I would definitely want to cut my Solana. I'd be looking for a much bigger correction to very, very low prices. I think that 120 is definitely on the cards. I showed you on the bull market support band. Solana's bull market support band's coming in somewhere around this region at about $145, which actually lines up with the middle of that range. So let's have a look at a bunch of the other coins. But for Solana, what you want to see is you want to see prices start to move up from here pretty soon. Now, very quickly, I'm just going to show you something over here very, very quickly. When you have these flushes out in the market, this is a free lesson for you guys. What you want to do is you want to look at the big wicks, right? The wicks signify inefficiency within the market, and the markets like to trade efficiently. So what you can do is you can grab your Fibonacci tool. You can start the anchor of the Fib tool at the exact bottom of the candle close, right? The close of the candle. Then you move it to the exact bottom of the candle, and then you simply change in your settings the style. You want the 0 and the 1. Those are your anchors from the top to the bottom of the wick. And then you want the 50% level, which is 0.5. Click OK. That will show you this zone. Now, again, similar to fair value gaps, similar to gaps in the stock market, there's not 100% probability that these fill, but they work in the same way. Oftentimes, price will create one more scare and come back down, even if it's much later, right? You'll come back down to 157 over here, fill that, and then look at lines up right at that trend line over there. That becomes an opportunity to look for a long. So go through the charts on your own, have a look at the various different coins and see where those zones are. But what typically happens after these types of moves is you'll start to establish a range, right? So I would also be looking at it like this. I would be viewing this as a range over here on Solana. Pay attention. This is the range that will probably hold over the next couple of days. And we'll quickly use this and this. There we go. So I would mark that high over there. And let's go red, and let's make it a solid line over there. So I'd view that one over there, and I'd view that one over there. That ultimately starts to create a trading range for you for a lot of these different coins, right? You might see after a move like this towards the downside or the upside, price will start to consolidate, right? It will start to form a little bit of a range before establishing what comes next for the market. Unless there's some major event that comes out where, they just announced that they're cutting all interest rates and they're implementing a massive round of quantitative easing, that's where you get the V-shaped recoveries and it goes straight out from there. So that's what I'm looking at over there on Solana on the day, or at least on the 4-hour time frame. Let's go back onto the daily though. So there it is. Now you can see the daily range. Okay, let's clean that up. Okay, what else? What else do we have? Let's have a look at SUI. Okay, SUI back to the levels that it was at yesterday. I like that. I'm more confident now than ever that this is going to just continue straight up towards 145. That should provide us a 45% move. $45,000 profit. We're $100,000 long on that trade right here on BitGet. So great. I love it. I love to see it. Looking good, at least on that one. Of course, we were stopped out on the other positions that we gave. Rune, we stopped out in slight profit. We're trailing the stop loss behind. We said if there's going to be a bearish engulfing candle on Rune, we want to exit that position immediately and we'll look to get in at lower prices. So that in fact has happened. Injective also with a big move towards the upside. This would start to open up the possibility for a bullish play, right? If you start to see something like this, the reclaim of this range level over here, then you start to open up the possibility to go long. And I would do something like this, right? This would be the long trade that I would look at. This is just a trading idea for you guys at home, right? I think that now the that wick low is going to mark the clear level, right? You don't want prices to go back below that level. Let's just quickly, where's this here? Long tool. Okay, there we go. You don't want prices to go back below that wick. So if you want a pretty conservative wide stop, that would be your stop loss over there on the injective. And you'd be targeting all the way to the top of the range high, which is going to be almost a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. If you want to go a little bit more aggressive, which means you increase the chances of getting stopped, then ultimately below today's lows where you would mark your stop loss off on this trade, that would change the probabilities to a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, but you also increase the chances of actually getting stopped out on that. I think that for the rest of the coins anyway, your best bet is to wait for the confirmation over here of a 5-day candle close above 69,615. If you get that, it's going to look really, really good for the rest of the market to continue and float onwards and upwards, right? So let's continue. What else do we have over here? What else is looking good? Anything else noteworthy that's bouncing nicely? We can go through a whole bunch of these coins over here. Let's have a look. Okay, theoretically, that is support for Cardano. Ethereum had a big move off the lows over there. I would just leave that one. Okay, rejected on Aptos. That's what we said is a possibility. Based on this rejection, it could go much lower. Atom, okay, in the middle of nowhere. AVAX, okay, a bit of a messy chart over here, but let's clean it up a bit. AVAX has hit the lows, right? So we've been trading these things level to level. So there it is. Ultimately, when price hits that level and holds it as support at $30, it opens up the possibility to trade it back up to 52. And the inverse is also true, right? So ultimately, if you go here, and let's just quickly make that arrow there, then when you hit the top side over here, then you start to trade it back to the bottom until such time as you reclaim 52, which is the resistance level. Cake coming into support over there. Dot. Mid-range, hit mid-range support. We gave you injective. He has Casper. Okay, big flush towards the downside. We're already mega long on this from way back. I think somewhere around here on the breakout of this ascending triangle that was forming. So I'm in that position. I'm going to keep holding it. That is a spot trade. Otherwise, we'll wait for cleaner levels on Casper. Okay, Matic also in the middle of nowhere. I would leave it. Near. Okay, Near starting to break this upsloping trend line, breaking below the mid-range over here. I would also be patient on Near. It's not in the perfect zone. Okay, what is going on? Let's continue. Okay, Solana, we just went through Solana. Sui, we went through Sui. Ton, how's Ton doing? Ton still looking very strong, right? Look at that immediate absorption. People want this coin. Definitely big buys that are filling orders on Ton because it keeps floating on up. We only got one order in, so I'll remind you, this was our entry over here at 480. We'll keep holding that one. ZETA at range lows, right? ZETA at range lows. So if you do for some reason want ZETA in your portfolio, this could actually be a pretty good zone to get some ZETA because you have the deviation. You're looking for another deviation over here, and then a rise towards the top side over there, coming in at $2. Arbitrum, okay, almost all the way back down at the range lows. Let's just mark this off. Okay, keep your eyes on Arbitrum for a sweep down into 78 cents. METIS. Okay, let's see. METIS did get the pullback that we're looking for. Look at our little LARP lines, right? These things seem to be playing out. So this is more or less the value zone where I'd be looking to get a little bit of METIS in the portfolio. If you just assume that that's the range high and that's the range low, where does that line up? Literally exactly at the mid-range, right? You're coming right into mid-range support, confluence of the upsloping trend line over there on METIS. Okay, Optimism, mid-range, but not too interested in that one. Okay, I think this one's good. I would actually be willing to potentially take a trade on something like this because you've come into key support over here and you're now going to have a clear invalidation, which is going to be yesterday's low. So let me just have a look at this one quickly and see on a bit of a lower time frame. Okay, I like this as an SR flip. I really like this one as a support resistance flip. And I would be trading this at the very least to the back to the top, excuse me, let me talk English, back to the top of the previous range highs. So this would be more or less the area where I'd be starting to take some profits. And this is on stacks. So a long position would look something like this. Stops would go below because you're breaking back below the range low. There you go. And you can trade that perfectly. There we go. 3.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio. That would be the trade, right? So let's continue. What else? Okay, let's go back onto the daily just to give us some better perspective over there. All right. Guys, please do me a favor. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. It really helps to get the show content out there. So go through to the top of here. Smash the like button. If you dislike it, it's fine. Just click it twice. Not once, twice. There we go. And then smash the like button. So also, I want to remind you, I'm mostly on Banter Plus at the moment. So make sure you go through to Banter Plus as well. Subscribe to the channel. Use the bell notification. Click it. And you'll see me there, right? You'll see me over there. Let's continue. Okay. Where are we? Where's that chart? Here we go. Okay. Boson, not interesting. C-Pool, no. Dust coming into resistance. Let's see. It's freezing a little bit. Okay, OM, still looking strong over here, still looking strong on OM. Look at that flush towards the downside. That's a perfect back test into support, holding that level over there. I feel optimistic that eventually OM is going to revisit, or it's not going to revisit. First time, it's going to move into price discovery into the $1.52 region. And Ondo, of course, has been one of the strongest ones out there. Also going to view that as a back test into support at $1.22 and probable continuation from that point onward. So let's have a look at some of the other coins over here. This is, I left this here for a reason, right? What was the reason? Okay, the reason was this guy's going to keep going. This guy's going to keep making noise. I think he's going to keep the media on their toes. And I think he's going to keep maintaining these long positions. So I think there's still opportunity in these coins, right? Despite them, look at this. Unbelievably, this one's been smacked based off of yesterday's run. This is GME with hat. I think when you see these flushes towards the downside, because the streamers are nothing burger, so of course it was a buy the rumor, which is exactly what happened, and a sell the news event. But I think that you saw the way price action moved. Expect that if GME is going to be a play, the actual GME that he's trading GameStop stock, and you're obviously a crypto-centric person, consider getting into these coins, right? GME with hat, RWIF, look at that one, also smacked down 85%, because the buy the rumor, sell the news events are probably going to repeat again and again. The other one was, of course, GME on ETH. Where's that one? Where's our GME on ETH? Yeah, this one over here. How's this one doing? Also, buy the rumor, sell the news, but there is some support that's coming in over here. It looks like they're buying it back up again. I think these are great opportunities. There's another one, which is much higher market cap, is going to be GME on Sol. It's this one over here. Let's put that onto our list. It's 4 months old. I think when these things get absolutely obliterated, those become opportunities to get in, right? To just have that GME exposure for lack of better word, the dumb retail that come back and obviously jump on with this guy. Look at that. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Exactly the same thing over here from top to bottom. That ultimately was a 63% sell-off. But I think that when this fizzles out, put it on your watch list, mark it off. If you can get this one at about last couple of digits, 9744 on Sol, GameStop on Sol, I think those become opportune moments. One that's doing well over here is, of course, PayPay, which is the Chinese Pepe. And then we have Pepe's little son, Pipi. And Pipi is also doing very good over here. Pipi is also doing good. Pipi is a small Pipi that's now rising, right? So you have a small Pipi rising towards the upside. So guys, let me know as well what else you want charted. I am still taking chart requests, so smash the like button. put in your chart request over there and I'll gladly bring it up. And then a quick reminder, if you do want to learn to trade, guys, you don't know anything about trading, my free trading school is in 25 days. You can join the next cohort. The waiting list is open, right? Because every cohort, we have this massive overflow and we have to put people onto a waiting list. So please use the link in the description now. Join while you still can. Join as well into the trading competition. Join us over there. Let's get this to 1,000 members. We are 381. We're currently kicking Rand's team's ass, which is amazing. Let's go look over here. 350. Look at that. He's on 350. And what are we on? 381. Let's get it to 1,000 because I know he's going to be coming back for me. So, okay, cool. Let's see. What else? Okay, I'm going to do quickly one or two more over here. Let's see. You guys asked for Chainlink. Let's go to Chainlink. How's Chainlink doing? Okay, coming back down. This was an area where you could open another long up. I would still maintain that position is valid. If you start to break below here, of course, go out. We are still long, right? I mean, ultimately, we took the long trade over here on spot at $5.40. This was just for late entrance into the market. You're looking at the back test into the support at the range highs. Acceptance gained under here means that Chainlink could potentially go as low as $12.20. So that's it from me, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. And I'll see all of you on the next one on Bands Plus on Monday. Have a great weekend and cheers for now.